Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Neca Universal Monsters, the Phantom of the Opera, Ultimate Phantom. This is based off the old 1925 movie, The Phantom of the Opera. The story has been redone time and time again since then. Most notably, I think of the white, sort of partial mask, but this movie predates even that. I got this figure from Toy Buzz and Fizz in Plainfield, Indiana. If you're local to Indiana, check them out. They have a bunch of cool stuff and get their NECA figures really early. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, the Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney, Ultimate Phantom. Here he is, swimming underneath. Woman here, guy here. One side, got the ugly Phantom. Other side, different head, also ugly. Back side, a bunch of different display options here. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there's the barcode, in case it helps anybody. This is one of NECA's ultimate figures. Window box packaging, you can hear the Velcro when I open it. On the inside flap, here's the Phantom. And then here he is with a ton of accessories. So no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we have this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He comes with 4 alternate heads, totaling 5 interchangeable heads, a total of 6 hands, a cloth soft goods cloak, he has a cane, and then a hat. But before I take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is the Phantom from the 1925 silent film Phantom of the Opera. Not the version that most people think of. Pretty much a disfigured, ugly, lonely man, sort of crazy, ends up kidnapping a woman. The story has been retold time and time again. This guy has all the accessories you could imagine. He kind of reminds me of Basil Carlo, the first Clayface, in his original origin story, where he's a murderous actor. Also kind of reminds me of the old film, The Man Who Laughs. So let's take a peek. Starting with his face, and he is ugly. He looked very creepy and ugly in the film. You can see mostly bald, just a little bit of hair there. Eyes sunken in, very freaky. Ugly teeth, ugly nose, ugly cheeks, just everything about him. This guy is side-eye. He's looking to the left, but there are many different heads to choose from. Little bow tie thing. Black suit. He lives in the opera house. It looks like single-jointed elbows, single-jointed knees. Overall, clean-looking figure. Sculpt, paint job. Went over to the store. I usually pick through all the figures, trying to find the best paint job. But absolutely every one looked flawless. Gonna commend NECA for that. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. And let's start off with his hands. He has a total of 6 hands, 3 left hands, and 3 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. This is his most normal pair of hands. This will probably be my default pair of hands, relaxed at his sides. And here's his next pair of hands. I guess it's a pair of gripping hands. The right hand is a pretty small grip, and it's obviously for his cane. The left hand here looks like he could potentially hold something else. Finger sticking out a little bit. And here's his third pair of hands. This pair is a little bit different. His right hand looks like it could be a pointing hand. Could also probably hold something. His left hand here, a little bit weird. It's got the index and middle finger sticking out. Now let's check out his heads. He has a total of 5 of them. Here he is with his first head. This one has a normal expression, looks hideous, and is looking straight at you. And here's his second head. This one has the side eye looking to the right. He's got this weird sort of smile thing going on, like he's coy, up to something, a little excited. Here's his next head. This one has the side eye going to the left. He looks a little nervous or concerned. And his next head here looks like maybe he's screaming, scared. And here's his final head. This is the mask that he wore when he kidnapped that woman. Now let's look at his hat. It looks pretty good. You can never have too many hats in your action figure collection. Here's the Phantom without the hat on. Then, with the hat on, here he is with that weird masked head and no hat. And the hat on that masked head. Now for his cane. It's very small, very thin. A little handle at the top. You can see the thin wooden cane. Here's the Phantom holding his cane. And then here he is using that cane. Now for his cloak. It's a cloth soft goods cloak. I believe it's the same one that came with the Casey Jones' Phantom figure. It's got hard plastic around the collar. a little bit of the front here, and it has a bendy wire on the sides there, so you can sort of make it take different poses. Pretty nice material. Here's the Phantom without his cloak, and here he is with the cloak on. You can have him with his arms inside the cloak or outside through going through them. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, staying at about 7.4 inches tall, which can translate to just under 19 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. You can look up and down about that much. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes up less than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got a single jointed elbow, goes in more than 90 degrees with rotation. His wrists can rotate and is going to be hinged as well. Torso sees one solid piece. He's got a ball joint in his waist, a little bit high up, rotate around, forward and back. Legs, complete as the splits, ball joints. They can rotate independently of the ball. They go forward about that far, back not much. Single jointed knee with rotation, and then his ankle, forward and back, tilt, rock, rotate. Here's the Phantom with his hat on, his coat on. Looks like he's up to something. And here he is, looking rather terrified. Now let's check him out. Next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other NECA horror figures. Here he is, next to Frankenstein, NECA's first figure to kick off the Universal Monsters line. And of course, Frankenstein got the royal treatment. Black and white version, color version, and glow-in-the-dark version. Next, they released the Mummy. The Mummy got the same treatment. All three variations, black and white, color, and glow-in-the-dark. And after that, they released the Wolfman. Wolfman also had three variations released. Here's the Phantom, next to Dracula. Dracula received a color and black and white version, and the black and white version was a little bit different than the standard version. After that, they released the Invisible Man, and the most recent Universal Monster figure they've made is the Bride of Frankenstein. Here is NECA's entire Universal Monsters collection. I believe the next one coming out is going to be Creature from the Black Lagoon. NECA has made a few accessory sets for their Universal Monsters. Here's the Phantom, next to the Mummy's sarcophagus, and here he is, next to Frankenstein's lab table, and now with Dracula's casket. Now those are all the accessory sets NECA has made so far, and I really doubt the Phantom's going to get one. Here he is, next to the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Universal Monsters, Casey Jones as the Phantom of the Opera. They did a pretty good job timing their releases pretty close to each other. Both really nice figures. Then, with NECA's entire Ninja Turtle Universal Monsters collection, now let's check them out. Next to some more recent NECA horror figures. Here he is with Leatherface, Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers. And here he is, next to a NECA Jigsaw and Pinhead from Hellraiser. Then, with two versions of the Creep. Here's the Phantom, next to some smaller horror icons. And here he is, next to some NECA figures from An American Werewolf in London. Then, with the Crooked Man and the Pale Man. And now, next to the Tall Man. Here's the Phantom, next to a NECA King Kong. King Kong is another old, but different kind of horror film. Then, next to the NECA monster figures. And now, next to a NECA Alien and Predator. Some sci-fi horror action films. Here's Phantom, next to McFarlane, Tony Todd Candyman. And finally, next to some Palisades, Resident Evil Zombie Cops. He kind of reminds me of Basil Karlo, the original Clayface, a Batman villain. The original version had no superpowers, simply wore a clay mask, and he was a failed actor, murdering the other cast members. He also kind of reminds me of the character from the old silent film, The Man Who Laughs. Here's a Gotham by Gaslight Joker that is based off that character. Now let's check him out. Next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a NECA figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his NECA brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from NECA Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with even more NECA figures, and now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures. Here's the Phantom, next to a can of Ready Whip. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, with some McFarlane toys. And here he is, standing with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures, then with some Mattel wrestling figures, and now with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collector figures, then with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, with some Mafex figures, then with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a pretty cool figure. It's a great addition to the Universal Monsters line. It's not the version of Phantom of the Opera I typically think about, but it is the oldest version out there. The figure himself did an excellent job with the likeness. It's creepy, it's repulsive. The accessories, they're also pretty nice. Ton of interchangeable parts. Articulation, a little bit limited, but you really don't need this guy to be a super articulated figure. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give it a strong 7.5 out of 10, leaning more toward an 8. It's a very nice release. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.